So there's been a lot of talk about safety and accidents and things like that lately. Well, let me go ahead and jump in on that as well. So stick around. Let's talk about it a little bit. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, like I say, there have been several videos out there about safety items, what to do, situational awareness, and things like that. And I thought I would give you my kind of perspective on it while I'm out here riding on the road right now. And my perspective is going to be a little different than probably most folks. Boy, this is busy. Get through here. See if we can do it in one piece, speaking of that. But number one, you have to understand where it is that I come from, the culture that I come from. And you know, horses are probably every bit as dangerous as cycling. A lot of people would say probably more so because you're dealing with something with a brain, but I've always found that brain kind of helped get me out of trouble, not get me into it. This bike don't have a brain to get me out of trouble. So, but I was very, very quick to tell everybody all the time that if your horse kicks at me, it's your fault. If his feet leave the ground, it's your fault. If they connect with me, it's my own fault. What's that mean? It means I've got to be aware enough of what's going on around me that I've got to prevent that from happening. And let's just say we would prevent that from happening however it was necessary to prevent it from happening. If that meant your horse was about to leave at a very high rate of speed, well, then so be it. That's what would happen. You know, but still, sometimes some things happen, but I've got to stay very aware. You know, I've got to stay aware of what's coming up behind me. Now let's translate this over into the bikes. You know, if somebody's going to hit me with a car, it's their fault that they're not seeing me, but if they actually hit me, it's my own fault for not getting out of the way. And I'm a firm believer in that, because I can't rely on you to keep me safe. You see what I'm saying there? So being as I cannot rely on somebody else to keep me safe, the only one I can really rely on is myself and the good Lord to keep me safe. So I've got to stay aware of everything that's going on around me. So how do we do that? You know, well, I'll tell you one of the things that I'm going to do is, and am I ultra safety conscious? You know, I haven't been wearing a helmet most of the time that we ride, but I don't ride there very fast. I don't ride on the roads a whole lot. I never did wear a helmet when I was riding horses. I always suggested that folks would, and I would in no way ridicule people that didn't. And you know, but I just didn't. I made it to, I don't know how many years I rode horses, but an awful lot of years. I made at least a half a century with being fortunate enough, you know. I always said God looks after fools and horse trainers, and well, he kept pretty busy with me. So, but I think everybody should be wearing their safety equipment. And actually, I'm in the process of starting that up. Why am I doing that? Well, check this out. I have joined a road cycling group. This is the North Carolina Biking Club. I believe it's called NCBC. And I am taking some training rides with them. They will train you how to basically ride I'm going in for that. I mean, I've only rode a couple thousand miles, 2,500 miles, something like that. You know, other than that, I never rode since I was a little kid. And real little kid, except for I think a couple times. I think once down in Florida, once in Germany. You guys have already seen the story about that, and if you haven't, well, shame on you, man. You got to go check it out. Get subscribed, you know, hit that bell, check these things out. But I'm going to take a training ride. And I already talked to the guy about, you know, I'd like to videotape some of it, and he said, yeah, he didn't have no problem with that. And so they're going to train. Now, what are they going to train on? How to shift the gears and things like that. Well, you know, I could use some pointers on that when you're coming up hills. So I'm open to anything they're doing, but they're also going to be talking about drafting, the people in front of you, true road etiquette. You know, I even did a video on what I felt like was good, and I was very quick to say in there, you know, this is just my opinions, what I've found over, you know, a couple thousand miles. I guess we had maybe 2,000 miles on at that time, something like that. So, but yeah, we're going to go ahead and do that, which means, well, it means I'm going to have to go out and buy some cycling shorts. Oh man, that should look good. I do have a helmet, but I may end up replacing that with something a little bit better. And a little bit more conducive. Let me see if I can squeeze down off of this road a little bit right here while this car is coming through. Being as we were coming around that corner. But we're going to go ahead and now join up on that. Now, when does that start? Well, it comes... I want to say it is April the 29th is our first training ride. And this is going to have some other bonuses, I think, for our crowd as well. You know, there is a awful lot of people that talk about e-bikes versus road cyclists. You know, that they don't like you, have no respect for you, they think you're cheating and everything like that. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a look and see what it is they think of us, how they interact with us and everything, and I'll let y'all know. I'll let y'all know. Uh-oh, somebody got a dirt bike. I see a little motocross track here. So somebody got them a dirt bike. But we're gonna interact with them, and I think a lot of that comes from, you know, you guys have heard me say it before. When people are on the internet, they're a whole lot tougher. Could be some more arrogance going on, things like that when they're anonymous. But when they're standing there looking you in the eye, it's a little bit easier for them to be civil with each other. And so that should be an interesting time there. Am I going to enjoy the group rides? You know, we went down and we took a look. We met the fellow that heads this all up, and they had a ride going on. I'll bet you they had 400 or 500 bikes on that, and they did, I think, 20 mile, a 30 mile, and a 60 mile, or maybe a 20, a 40, and a 60 mile loop. You know, different groups going out. That's a long way to go. That's a long way to go on a bicycle, 60 miles. So who knows, maybe I'll go out there and buy me a road bike. But I'm kind of partial to this one right here, and it's kind of partial to my bike as well, so I wouldn't be looking to have that go on too much. But yeah, stay tuned for that. We're going to be coming up to it. We will be putting out a few videos on some different equipment that we get there. You know, the cycling pants, and I've already got a jersey that's probably fitting enough, even though I usually wear button-down shirts. But any of the other things, and like I say, we're going to try and video as much of that as we can, and it'll be interesting to get the perspective from how regular cyclists treat an e-bike rider, and learn something about riding on the roads. Is it all going to be about group riding? I don't think so. I think it's going to be about just riding on the roads, period. Some of these things are going to be adaptable, so I'm honestly really truly looking forward to it. So hey, until then, it's Southern E-Biking. I'm going to tune out on this one, but Southern E-Biking telling you, hey, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels turning. Once again, we're out.